Configuring your favorites menu, scenarios, and views will not only provide a customized proALPHA experience, but it will also help save time when starting and using proALPHA. The process is very straightforward and simple, so let's dive right in. The first time you launch proALPHA, you'll notice that the program menu has two tabs, Programs and Favorites. Right now, the Favorites menu is empty. At the top of the Favorites menu, you'll see three icons. We'll get to those in a moment. First, let's create a Favorites menu folder using the second icon. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to start by creating a Favorites menu for order entry and quoting, and I'm going to name it Sales. Simply click on the Create New Group icon, enter the group name, and press Enter to save. I'll create a second group for purchasing. Now we can add programs to these groups. There's a couple of different ways to find programs in this version of proALPHA. You can manually navigate through the program tree, or you can simply search for the program by name. As you can see, the search results show the path to the program and its location in the program tree. If you mouse over the program name, you'll see a silhouette of a star. Click this star to add the program to your favorites. proALPHA will ask you which folder you would like to place the program in. I'll place this into my Sales folder. As you can see, the silhouette is now a solid star, and the shortcut to the program is now available in the folder I selected. Now I'll repeat the same process again for orders and purchase orders. Oops, I accidentally placed purchase orders in my Sales folder. That's okay. You can simply drag the program into the correct folder. You can also delete items from your favorites using the delete button at the top. This doesn't delete the actual item, but rather just the favorites link to that item. By default, the folders are expanded automatically when you open proALPHA. They can be closed and opened individually as needed, or you can click the first icon at the top to collapse and expand all of them. This is helpful when you have many favorites folders and want to navigate to just one of them quickly. As you use proALPHA regularly, a new favorites menu may appear called Most Used. This is a list of programs that you access on a regular basis but have not saved into a specific favorites folder. You can disable or re-enable this feature by clicking on the gear at the top right. You can also adjust settings for automatically saving views, scenarios, and favorites, or hide and reveal your to-do list. There may be times when you need to access the same dataset on a regular basis. For example, a specific part, customer, or maybe a sales agent. Rather than navigating to this dataset manually, you can easily save it to your favorites. Simply click the star icon in the header. You can choose to rename it or leave the default, and then indicate which favorites folder you would like to place this dataset in. As you can see, customers are now displayed under the sales folder as I selected, and the dataset is now available as a clickable shortcut. When opening certain programs, there will more than likely be times when you'll need to open additional functions as well. Using scenarios, we can tell proALPHA to open these functions automatically and in a specific layout. We can also save scenarios to the favorites menu. For example, when working with orders, you'll more than likely need to open function lines or quick entry depending on your internal process. You may also need the text editor open as well. Let's open our functions and configure our windows correctly now. Now that we have our layout configured, click File, Save Scenario. Now every time we open orders, it will load this exact configuration by default. You can also choose Save As and choose a name for this layout in your favorites. You can also create scenarios in sub-windows as well. For example, in Quick Entry, you can choose Info, Document Link to view related documents. But let's say you want that process to also show the DMS document as well. Configure your layout, and then in the Document Link window, click File, Save Scenario. Now every time you open the document link from Quick Entry, it will open this sub-window automatically. If you decide you no longer want this function to open automatically, simply click File, Reset Scenario. Depending on your current project, there could be times when you have multiple levels of windows open. Having to scroll back and forth repeatedly can get cumbersome after a while. In those instances, you can easily move open windows to their own linked tab in proALPHA. Take a look at this current configuration. Instead of scrolling up and down to see everything, let's move these windows to their own tab. Just click File, Move to New Tab. You'll notice the new tab has a chain link icon. This means that information on this tab will correlate with the information on the original tab. If I switch work orders here, this tab follows. But what if you need to do a side-by-side comparison and would like to see both sets of data at the same time? Easy! You can also display your second tab in its own window. All you need to do is right-click on the tab name and choose Display Contents in External Window. Now that this tab is a floating window, you can move it anywhere you'd like, even to a second monitor. These settings will also be remembered by proALPHA if you save the scenario. Views are similar to scenarios, except rather than controlling the layout of a specific program, views allow you to configure and automate your entire proALPHA layout. Views are configured using the third icon at the top of the screen. When you save a current view, this will tell proALPHA that you want to launch all of the currently open programs automatically every time you start the software. Views can be configured the same for every company or individually based on your specific needs in that company. For example, if you only enter orders in company 110 and no others, you would select Save Current Company. If you enter orders in all companies, you choose All Companies. You can also reset your views and access the full screen function using this icon. Now that your views and scenarios and favorites have been configured, you can start your workday much quicker and with fewer clicks.